Welcome to the Clique podcast. I'm Dani Watson, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of the Clique, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Hello, ladies. Well, I am recording this and it is another glorious day here in the UK. We've had this amazing heat wave, which has definitely made lockdown life a little bit easier, being able to be out in the sunshine. Anyway, the theme for today's episode is all about how to strengthen your faith in the universe, how to trust that the universe is supporting you towards your desires. And where I want to start actually is a story, something that's happened to me literally like in the space of the past few days, where I was basically sent these very, very strong, profound messages from the universe about my path. So one of the ways which we can actually strengthen our faith in the universe is to start paying attention to the signs that the universe is sending us. Signs that suggest that we are on the right path, that we are making the right decisions. Signs that perhaps suggest our desires are already on their way. So I like to ask the universe for guidance, as often as possible. If we want to have the universe's support, we have to let the universe know that we are open to receiving that support. We have to ask for that guidance. So just to give this a bit of context, last year my partner and I, we finally were able to buy our home. So this is our home that we have really been manifesting for a long time. We always knew we wanted to buy a project, something that we could get really creative with, that we could put our own stamp on, and that we could basically turn into this beautiful dream home of ours. So anyway, that was in October last year, and obviously with everything that's been going on, as you can imagine, the plans for that took a little bit of a back seat because obviously builders weren't working, and so we had to kind of pause things. And it's only actually really recently that we've been able to pick up on things again and start moving forwards with our plans. Anyway, for anybody who's ever renovated a house before, you'll know that it comes with a lot of different decisions that you've got to make. And a lot of the time, it's hard to know whether or not you're making the right decisions on things, when it comes to like knocking down walls or, choosing different materials, choosing different kitchen designs. It's quite overwhelming. There's a lot that goes on. It's very, very fun, but it's quite overwhelming. And I thought, you know what? I am going to listen to the universe here. I'm going to ask the universe for some support. Because basically we'd had a number of different builders come round and give us two very, very different ideas of how we could plan things out. And we were basically at the point of needing to decide which builder we were going to go with and what designs we were going to choose. And I asked the universe for a sign, and I wanted to just the universe to say to me, like, this is, you're on the right path here. So we decided on a specific design and a builder, and I just wanted that confirmation from the universe. Am I on the right path? And so in my meditation, I brought that question to the forefront of my mind, like, is this the right decision? I thought about like the decisions that we'd made. Is this the right decision? Are we on the right path? Could you give me a little bit of guidance here? And I waited to just see what came up. And I got this really, really vivid image of a white fluffy cat. No idea where this came from, but I just was sent this image of this white fluffy cat. Now, I don't mind cats, but I'm definitely more of a dog person. But it was very clear, like I was being sent this image of a white fluffy cat. So I was like, right, okay, I'm just going to go with this. I'm just going to trust that this is my sign to be looking out for. And then as I went about my day, that day, I kid you not, like literally 10 minutes after I had been doing this meditation, I went to go and prepare breakfast for my daughter, and I flicked on the TV so I could catch up on the morning news, and the advert that came on as soon as I switched on the TV was an advert for cat food. And I'm sure you can guess where I'm going with this. The cat that was on the advert was this white, fluffy cat. Now, I've probably seen this advert before, but for me, this was a very, very clear sign from the universe that yes, you've made the right decision, you're on the right path, okay? And so this is where I want to start. In order to strengthen your faith in the universe, to trust that the universe is supporting you, the universe is always going to be sending you signs that what you want is on the way, or will be sending you signs that yes, this decision is meant for you, or no, this decision is not meant for you. But you have to be open to them. You have to open your eyes and start to pay attention to these little nudges. And these nudges may show up in a number of different ways. They may be these little synchronicities. They may be a sign that you've specifically asked for. Another really good example of this was when I wanted to manifest a car. So I had this car that I chose this car because I thought at the time, I was like, nobody has this car. I really, really like this car. And I've not really seen this car often around. So the car that I now drive, it's a Land Rover Discovery Sport. One of the reasons that I really wanted this car was because of the size of the boot and having my daughter and her pram, which is basically the size of a small car itself. I needed a pretty big boot for that pram to fit in. So I'd seen this car and I'd been to sit in this car. I test drove this car. I was like, right, this is the car I'm going to manifest. And I wanted to, have a sign from the universe that my desire was on its way. And all of a sudden, this car, which I thought nobody really drove, like it was not as many people drove it as, let's say, a Range Rover or something. And I started to see this car all the time. But not only did I see, the model of the car, but I saw it with the exact spec of my car, the black colour that I wanted. And so, yeah, I started to see it literally everywhere. And it wasn't long after this started to happen that I actually then manifested that car, and the car is now mine. So anyway, give yourself, or give the universe ask the universe for a symbol, or a sign of that your desires are on the way. And it could be something really random. It might be something that you specifically ask for, or it might be an image that you get that comes up for you during your meditation. Like, ask the universe for that sign. A student of ours, one of our students from the Clique Academy, our coach training program, she recently did this, and the image that came up for her was a rainbow leopard, which is obviously so random. You don't, not every day you come across a rainbow leopard. And then, what was it now? It was what they call beanie babies. She was sorting out her stuff, and she came across a rainbow beanie baby that she'd had from years and years and years ago. Again, it's so random, and this is the thing, the signs from the universe, they're never random. We sometimes have these moments and we think, oh, well, that's a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. This is a subtle nudge from the universe. So either state to the universe what your sign is. So give a very clear direction. Universe, I want you to show me a pink flamingo, or, butterflies, whatever it is. And then start to pay attention. Or, as I said, it might be a sign, an image that comes to you during meditation. And when you see this sign, take it as a gentle nudge from the universe that yes, you're on the right path. Yes, you've made the right decision. Yes, your desires are on the way to you. Everything is working in your favor. Okay? Now, what else can we do to strengthen our faith in the universe? And what I will say at this point is this strengthening your faith in the universe, it is so important. What I see often play out with people is that they're very good at doing the first part of the manifestation process, which is doing the work on their beliefs, on their energy, getting clear on what they want, taking that inspired action. And they start to take that inspired action, and their desires don't manifest instantaneously. And then they start to doubt that the universe is actually supporting them. Because their desires aren't instant, They start to worry that, well, what if this isn't working out for me? What if I've chosen the wrong path? What if I fail at this? What if I can't have what I want? And off the back of that, they will start to work harder. They will start to do more. They will start to try and control the outcome. They'll start to try and force things to happen. And I often see this a lot with our students that we work with that are building a coaching business, right? Maybe they've finally launched their business to the world and, they're wanting to get that client within the first week of launching, and it doesn't happen. Maybe for some people it does, but for some people maybe it doesn't happen. And then they start to think, well, I just need to do more. I just need to show up more. I just need to be more. I need to create more content. And they get themselves into this hustle mode mentality and forgetting that by doing that, they are no longer taking inspired action. So remember that we have to be taking action towards our goals, but that action has to be inspired. It has to feel fun. It has to feel joyful. It has to feel light. When we put this huge amount of pressure on ourselves, that inspired action quickly becomes uninspired action. It feels like an uphill struggle. It feels like a chore. And why is this? It's because that faith in the universe has weakened. We start to doubt that we're actually being supported. If you knew with every inch of your being that the universe was going to deliver on its promise, the universe was going to give you exactly what you wanted at exactly the moment that was meant for you, you wouldn't find yourself slipping into that hustle. Because you would trust that you didn't need to do more, that the universe was going to show up and play its role in the process. And that's the thing, when you do too much, when you try and control every part of the process and try and do everything, you're not leaving that space for the universe to work its magic. Imagine that you've got a schedule for the week, and each schedule has, these spaces, these slots of things that you can do, and then these spaces where, the universe that's the universe's role to play. If you are filling up every single time slot in that schedule, you've not left any space for the universe. So it's like when you kind of put too much stuff onto your plate, and you kind of overburden yourself with everything. You're not allowing the universe to play its part. So strengthening your faith in the universe, then, I think one thing is to remember that gap, that manifestation gap between taking inspired action and actually receiving your physical manifestation, that manifestation gap is there to support you. So again, like when people see, they're doing the work, they've done the inner work, they've started taking that inspired action, and there is a delay to actually getting their desires. They start to doubt that, oh, what if I'm not being supported? Without recognizing that there's a reason for that gap. The universe is always going to deliver exactly what is meant for you at exactly the moment that you are meant to receive it. And sometimes there's certain shifts that we need to go through before we are ready to receive our desires. Before we are in that position where we are ready to perhaps handle our desires. And in relation to, let's say, for example, with our students in the Clique Academy, like one of their desires that they're wanting to manifest is their clients. They're wanting to have the paid for clients sign up to their programs. And some of them, they think that they're ready for that, but there's actually certain shifts that they need to go through. And when we start digging into this, we realize actually they've still got a fear of responsibility. They've still got that fear of, am I good enough to actually support my clients? There's maybe a little bit of resistance there to working with paid for clients. Maybe they've not actually got physical space in their schedule for paid for clients. I saw this play out quite recently where it was a student actually going through this exact thing. So she'd launched her business, and I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks. And she was like, Dani, I've yet to have my clients sign up. And I'd given myself this day of a week's time where I wanted to have my first client sign up within a week of launching, and it's not happened yet. And I'm nearly, at 3 weeks past my launch date. What is going on? And we were kind of discussing this, and we realized that she actually was completely jam-packed. Her schedule didn't actually have any physical space to receive her clients. And so that manifestation gap, it was there to support her, because if she was to all of a sudden get a client, she would actually find herself feeling very overwhelmed, because it would be like, oh my God, well, where is this client going to fit in? How am I actually going to add even more to my plate? So there's always going to be a reason why that gap is there. And it may not make sense to you at that moment in time, but I promise you it will in hindsight. You know, there's definitely been times where I've thought, I am ready for my desire. I'm ready to receive this, yet it's not physically here yet. And it's only when I've looked back that I've realized, okay, in that wait, whilst I was waiting for that desire, I learned so much about myself. I, strengthened my resilience. I strengthened my faith in the universe. I went through some amazing periods of growth. And I now look back and realize, like, I was meant to experience that. That gap was a blessing. If I didn't have that gap, if everything just dropped into my lap, when I wanted it to, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to experience that level of growth. And here's the thing, that period of growth that you will go through when you are tested in that manifestation gap, that period of growth that you will go through, that is designed, you need to experience that so that when you manifest the physical desire, it's not just about getting it, it's also about keeping it as well. You've become the woman that you need to be to not only manifest that desire, but also to sustain that desire. So think about people who, let's say like lottery winners, right? Where they win a certain sum of money, a huge sum of money. There are some statistics out there, and crazy statistics about people that have won the lottery and a few years later they are bankrupt. Why is that? It's because they've not had to go through anything in order to get that money. It's something that's just fallen into their lap. They've not had to shift into a different person. They've not had to go through these periods of growth in order to receive that money. And therefore, they've not been able to keep it. They've not been able to sustain it. They then find themselves back at square one, or sometimes in an even worse position, where they're completely bankrupt. So that manifestation gap, as I said, it is there to support you. Your biggest opportunities for growth are not going to be coming from your wins. They're not going to come when you receive your desires. Your biggest opportunities for growth are at the moments when you feel that you're being tested. The moments when you feel that nothing is working for you. The moments when it feels like, oh my goodness, like everything doesn't seem to be moving in the way that I wanted, or I'm waiting for these things to happen and I'm doing everything that I can, but it doesn't seem to be working. It's in those moments that you're going to have your biggest breakthroughs, okay? So don't deny yourself the privilege of those things. And so when you start to change your mindset around this manifestation gap and realize that it's something that's happening for you, you start to realize that this is actually a way that the universe is supporting you. You can strengthen your faith in the universe, knowing that this manifestation gap, the universe is providing it to you as an opportunity for growth. Okay, so then when you're waiting for those desires to manifest and you're thinking, I'm not being supported, you can look at all of those lessons that you're going through right now. What am I learning from this? What is this current gap teaching me? How am I growing? What is this challenging me to do? How is this forcing me to get out of my comfort zone? How is this building up my resilience? What have I done during this manifestation gap that's allowed me to grow? You can then see, when you start to ask yourself these questions, you can then see that the universe is in fact supporting you. It's not ignoring you, it is supporting you. It's helping you become the woman you need to be to not only manifest your desires, but to also sustain them too.